受。
日报之业则马老将就法度大业亚素，大业清净定为所难地，若大本身三业如阿这道所给这南拉将就法度大业亚素，大业清净定为所难地，若大本身三业如阿
The great being Lama Tsongkhapa said in one of his teachings that this basis for the states of freedom exceeds a wish-fulfilling gem. Such is found only once. It's difficult to find and easy to lose, like lightning in the sky. Seeing this, we know all worldly actions like the husk of a grain, and day and night strive to extract life's essence. So, having said that, we reflect upon our current situation, in which we have got that excellent working basis, which is really difficult to find. It is very difficult to find, and it is of great meaning. It is of great advantage. We have a precious human body with freedoms and opportunities, the 8 states of freedoms, the 10 sets of opportunities. Not only that, we also met the Buddha Dharma. Not only we have met the Buddha Dharma, we have met a fully qualified Mahayana teacher that can teach us the unerring path. So in that sense, we have all the conditions complete in that nothing is missing. All the good conditions are complete and nothing is missing. So our current situation is so great that it is important to, as much as possible, seize that opportunity and not let it slip away.
那宗喀巴大师在这个教法当中呢说过呢，就是说我们所获得的这种暇满人生呢，它是像如意宝一样哦，但是呢你可获得的这个时间呢却是很短暂的，就像闪电一样，很快就过去了哈。所以呢，我们应该要日以继夜的精勤的截取它的精华，善用这个暇满人生哈。然后就是我们目前呢所获得的这个暇满人生呢，真的是一个非常殊胜的一个基础，它是很稀有难得，又具有大意义跟这个利益的哈。具有呢这8种闲暇，也就表示说我们有这样子的机会机缘，以及呢我们不止呢遇到佛法，然后而且呢我们还值遇了具德圆满的这种大圣的这种上师啊， 然后呢，也就是可以教导我们整个这个清净圆满道的这个上师。所以目前呢，我们在这个修行的一切这个顺缘呢，通通都具足哈，都没有或缺的时候哈。这种因缘呢是非常稀有难得的，所以我们应该呢就是要好好的善用，不可以浪费。
그가 뱉은지 마셔봐. 근데 이게 지금 아니 지금 이게 그주 근데 이게 지금 하시고 그래. 근데 이게 지금 이게 그러다. 전적으로 이제 된다고 해. 다들 톱 되는 데가 그게는 야지만 근데 마셔 그렇지. 네, 아니 지금 이게 아니 준비 추수 시험이나 아니 이제 된다고 지금 이게 야인님을 유난다. 아니 이거 말레이장 아니 제수 이거 내 총들에 해라고 많이 봐. 아니 지금 그게 어디다 되는 빼다 주소 못 보는 이게 전적으로 이제 가장 경우가 좋아. 어떻잖아. 아니 지금 우리가 가지고 그래. 경우가 왔다. 이게 지금 지금 당연히 뒤에는 이거 매매 있나? 근데 이게 아니 신이 아니 그게 지금 아주 이게 요치만 이게 아주 내가 까나 제수 장신 이게 아주 아니 맞아 지금 소소리야 아니 지금 이게 요 얘는 게 이제 이게 너무 부담해요 말이지 아니 이게 친이 이게 아주 대도된 년도 하루 때문에 이게 저거 공기 그 패션 이게 맞아 지금 들이야 이게 아니 지금 이게 너무 때문에 내가 이배나 아니 인구 내가 잡는 맛에 인구 뒤에 가다니는 데 모르겠어.
So we need to seize the opportunity that we have in this life. For if we do not seize that opportunity, if we do not make sure that again we work in order to attain such a good physical support, such a good working basis, if we meaninglessly waste it, when we will find such an opportunity again? So we have to make sure that we do make the most out of this human body that we have now, which is very difficult to find. And if we do not extract the essence of this life, then we should also think to ourselves, what will happen to us after death? For after death, leading up to next life, what goes with us, what propels us are our actions, black or white actions, or positive and negative actions. It's not that we have a sense of freedom in choosing the type of rebirth that we are going to have in our next life. This is determined by the type of actions, positive or negative, white or black actions that we have done before. So we need to make sure that not only we extract the essence of this life, we need to make sure that we do it right from now.
那还有呢，我们呢一定是必须要去善用我们目前所拥有的这种可以修行的这种善缘具足的大好机会哈。因为呢，一旦你错过失去这样的机会的话，不能保证你会能够再得到一次这样圆满的这个机会。所以我们不要把这样子的暇满人生呢，用浪费在无意义的事情上面这样哈。所以呢，我们一定要就是善用这个暇满人生，因为一旦失去，很难以再获得一次的，一定要善用这个稀有难得的暇满人生，一定要去截取它的精华。那以及呢，就是我们在死后呢，就是要进入我们的下一世。那下一世到底会怎么样呢？完全是观待呢，就是我们所造的业而定的哈。我们目前的状态来讲呢，是白夜比较少，黑夜比较多的哈。所以你下一世到底会往何处去呢？一定是要观待你以前所造的业而定的。所以我们一定要截取这个暇满人生的精华，而且呢，从现在当下就要开始善用你的暇满人生。
我当时这个这个是的，아니 마음을 내 대대야 이게 지금 아니 이거 라면은 이게 라면이야 이게 산지 이거만 두트야 이거 아니 지금 이게 증나야 이게 아버지도 고마 두트기요 남자인데 타마 되는 비게지 아니지 가지고 그래 제시마 아니 비게 대조 내서 뭐지 되는 비게 조수해야 되는 비게 지금 비게 요대와 이제 비게 누가 때는 비게 요대와 지금 비게 문제 비게 요대와 와 세상 이 안에 아주 제가 맞게 있는 주제를 맞지 얘들 제외는 오늘 전에 그게 지금 그게 단대 쉬우는 신 공부 쉬우는 신 이게 지금 문제고 문제 가서 어떤 문제 유유해 이게 전체적으로 주도해 그거 상고 이번 딜이야 이게 그거비 쇼레이나 시라를 공부했어 아니지 그 공부는 아니 누르딩이야 진짜 이게 저 통로 용이는 아니 다 시라를 보기에 공부에다 집중아 좋아 아니 그거 들어와 누르딩 같이 너무 맞으면 그거 공부 누르딩 같이 너무 맞으면 너무 맞으면 아니 시라를 그게 저거 때문에 난신 말한줘야 아니 누구 단자를 대조 문제에서 문제가지 얘를 얘들이 자기가 말하면 내가 알아줘 이게 전에 실수 당신 이게 생기가 당신 하나님 경제 대비나 시라를 공부했어 제가 내 먼저 받은 나도 인물인데 앞에 배고프지 아니 지금 아니 나 뭐시보다 아주 지루 이게 내저 제거하지 난 하지 않겠어 그랬어
So we have this working basis, and we can take the essence of this working basis, and when we do it, the best that we can achieve on that basis is to attain the state of a precious Buddha, the state of a complete Buddha. That would be the best thing that we can do on the basis of this working basis. If we cannot get that, the middling result that we can do in extracting the essence of this life is the state of liberation. Or at the very least, the list of the result that we can attain on that basis is, again, a good working basis, a good human body in our next life with freedoms and opportunities. That would be getting a fruitful result out of this body that we have now. So basically, it's up to us to decide whether we're going to do it or not. So if we are going to make the most out of this life, to take the essence, to extract the essence of this life, we can secure either a great result, the best result, or a middling result, or a least type of result. But if we do not do that, it would be tantamount. It would be like traveling to a treasure island and coming back empty-handed. How foolish it would be if you were to get that opportunity to travel far and wide to an island that is full of treasures, full of precious gems, and come back empty-handed. It would be poor of you to do that. It would be foolish of you to do that. So similarly, if we do not take the essence out of this life, if we only spend our time in meaningless affairs, in pursuing things that belong to this lifetime only, it would be like wasting that opportunity that we have now. It is like coming back empty-handed from a treasure island. So the point is that it is extremely important to make the most out of this life, to extract its essence.
目前呢，我们具足了这个暇满人生的这个基础的时候呢，我们一定要善用这个基础呢，去截取它的这个精华。那用这个暇满人生为基础去修行的话，哈，那我们最高可以达到的成就就是可以成就这个圆满的佛果位。那如果没有办法呢，达到这个圆满的佛果位的话呢，那至少呢，可以就是去努力的呢，去趋向呢，像这个解脱哈。那如果也没有办法达到解脱的成就，那么至少呢，就是要在下一世呢，再次获得这个暇满人生的这个圆满的基础，以便让你下一世呢，拥有这个好的基础跟机会呢， 可以来继续修行这样哈。那我们刚刚前面讲的这3种结果呢，都是从我们目前所得到的这个暇满人生的这个基础上，如果你有去善用它的话，你可以得到成就哈。那就是说，你将来会得到什么样的成就，完全是看你现在如何使用你的暇满人生而定的。所以我们一定要下定决心呢，从现在开始呢，我们就要截取我们的暇满人生的这个精华哈，然后让我们这个暇满人生能够具有这个大意义，而且能够得到好的这个结果。不然的话呢，你如果拥有这个暇满人生，你却把它给浪费掉的话，就好像是入宝山空手而回啊。那就好像说你旅行呢到那个很远的这个地方去呢，去类似像鸡鸣岛，那上面都是宝藏的这个宝岛上面啊，但是呢你去了以后却空手回来，这个是很愚蠢的事哈。所以如果你没有善用你的暇满人生，却把你的暇满人生呢浪费在无意义的事情上面，指的就是说在现世的这些享乐的这种无意义的事情上面的话，那么你就浪费掉了你拥有暇满人生的这种大好机会，就等于像是这个入宝山空手而回这样子啊。所以呢，我们一定要从现在开始呢，就去善用我们的暇满人生，截取它的精华。
그래서 다시 그래서는 이게 가지고 내가 지금 아주 준비해서 that用人他所准备的对吧？对吧？这几个月的过了他们这些的方案，아니用不了，对，这样这个아니 장구 종가 같은 그 아니 양 이게 이게 양수인주 이게 정말 이제 지금 포함해 아니 지금 이게 딱 양심 잡아 대신도 아니 지금 이게 공 진주 수장 아니 대신 이게 이물로 말했어요. 그걸 송했어.
So Examiner started off with reciting a verse that is taken from the writings of Lama Tsongkhapa. Actually, it's a text that is called Songs of Experience, and it is the short version of his Lam Rim composition. So His Eminence recited the verse that is speaking of extracting the essence out of this human rebirth. And it says at the end of this verse that himself a liberation seeker, right? So I, a liberation seeker, follow the practice of my precious Lama. Please do so likewise. So is encouraging us as the students to do exactly that, which means that in extracting the essence of this life, to strive at attaining one of those 3 types of result, either the best result, the medium, or the least of the results. 13, 14. Verse 13, 14. Yeah.
那事实上呢，就是仁波切现在讲的哈，就是反而是那个普吉道次第摄颂，然后就是那个摄颂里面讲的就是宗喀巴大师呢，他的就是实证这个道次第的经验哈，然后就是类似像正道歌的意思哈。那他讲的这个第一个寄颂呢，就是在讲这个截取这个暇满人生的这个精华哈，然后就用这个截取暇满人生的精华去向这个解脱成佛的这个秘密这样子哈。然后这个呢，就是在鼓励呢我们身为这个弟子的呢，能够如实如理的照这样子去截取这个暇满人生的精华，然后呢再以这个暇滿人生的这个基础之上呢，可以成就上中下3种结果。
어쨌든 다른 인들한테 이게 아니지 그게 아쉬움을 해. 다 최대야. 아니지 그게 아니 누굴 인주대야. 최시가 된 거 그랬어. 최대야 이게 아니 그것이 법을 때문에 이게 전주 남기는데 아니 누구 줘봐. 아니 그것이 우리가 정보는 통과 붙이면 이게 아니 내가 이게 뭐 아니 난 좋아하는 거 소체 베니피게지 사업을 뭐 잡고 있는 나한테 와 어디 되게 이게 완전히 좀 파네 아니지
Thus, in order to extract the essence of this life, we rely upon Dharma. We rely upon a particular Dharma. Here we rely upon a text that is called The Stages of the Path to Enlightenment, which was composed by Lama Tsongkhapa. Particularly, it is a text that is called The Three Principal Aspects of the Path, and it teaches the stages of the Path to Enlightenment. This text was composed by Lama Tsongkhapa, aiming at one of his disciples called Ngawan Chakpa.
然后再就是我们现在讲的这个截取这个暇满人生的精华的话，当然就是你一定要依止这个佛法哈。然后我们现在在讲的呢，特别呢就是由宗喀巴大师呢他所编纂的这个道次第的这个教典，然后三主要道这样哈。然后尤其是呢这个宗喀巴大师所编纂的这个道次第的这个教典呢，是由这个他的弟子呢，就是拿瓦查巴呢所做。
어떤데 이제 단단히 아니 지금에 만들어는 수도 짜지 그래서 아니 만들어는 좀 지금에 차상하지 하고 structural 말에 주주께 만나다 되게 지금제가 단단한 아니다 이 초대 장치 아니 어떤 쉐니스.
Last time that Rinpoche, that His Eminence was here at Dro-Phen Center, there was also a plan to teach the three principal aspects of the path, but it hasn't been accomplished successfully or completely. So, therefore, the need to then do it again, to teach it again, so that we can complete the teachings on the three principal aspects of the path was foreseen or was envisioned. So. Now we're going to again look at the three principal aspects of the path.
上一次仁波切来杜碑林中心的时候呢，就是要讲这个三主要道，但是上一次没有圆满的讲完哈，那所以这一次呢，再次呢就是可以再来讲这个三主要道哈，然后就可以圆满的把它讲完。
而且他说呢，남조선수들이 이게 시작을 좀 늦추고, 그와 아니 지금에 딱 노주 이발라 아니 이게 자주 남기는데 아니 괜찮아 없이 한지는 안 되죠. 예, 아니 지금에 자주 남기는데 좀 용서도 받지 아니 좀 가지고 간다. 아니 또 아마 숨기다 받듯이 그와 자주 남기는데 주제 네 용서도 받지 아니 그게 남기도 나바순 양선의 유신 이게 송치 예 지금 장고 종합의 친구 변일이야 아니 주전 자배야 이게 시시 따다고 용비게요 아니 지금 완전한 총 네 아바도 이게 지금 오늘 따위고 좀 망쳐서 장고 종합의 친구야 아니 주전 자배야 시험을 시시 지금 시시 용비도 지난 한도 시와 미담이나 지시시 방대야 그냥 강한 수기 방대야 지금 좋아할 때네 네 주변 자배야 지금 저도 좀 같이 모르겠나 이게 이룬 하신 나가 지금 와네 이게 시시 방대야 지금 이게 수직 통이고 어디 지금 이게 이 이상에 아니 나는 지금 아니 내신님도 찾아보고 지금 오늘 지금 샴푸야 아니 사제 용수도 지금 자배야 나를 갖고 지나지 그래서 좀 세고 어쨌든 이게 있는데 아니 남이 또는 그게 내가 아니 그게 지금 자배야 이렇게 제도가 좀 샤샤 그랬어.
In studying the three principal aspects of the path, we're studying a brief presentation of the stages of the path to enlightenment. It is very brief, and yet it contains all the key points taken from the states of the path to enlightenment. So all of them were summarized into the three principal aspects of the path. Lama Tsongkhapa composed this text, and Lama Tsongkhapa met the Venerable Manjushri in actuality. In a more literary way, it is said that he came to be face-to-face with Manjushri. And he got teachings from Manjushri. His explanation, for example, on the middle way system, the Madhyamika system, was based on his encounters, his actual encounters with the Venerable Manjushri. So when we think of the type of relationship that Lama Tsongkhapa had with the Venerable Manjushri, there could be different types of encounters. You might say that you might see Manjushri or a being such as Manjushri in a dream, or you might have a clear appearance of such a being. But the type of relationship, the type of meetings that the great Lama Tsongkhapa had with the Venerable Manjushri is of meeting face to face, an actual student and teacher relationship, in which the Venerable Manjushri instructed Lama Tsongkhapa on various aspects of the Buddhist path. Particularly when you look at some of Lama Tsongkhapa's texts, such as, for example, Essence of Eloquent Speech, distinguishing the provisional and the definitive, this text was particularly instructed or led by the Venerable Manjushri to Lama Tsongkhapa. So this is the type of relationship that student and teacher relationship that Lama Tsongkhapa had with the Venerable Manjushri. So? Venerable Jetsun. Venerable said the Nangin the Inchikitola Jetson lad the Venerable Sri.
再来呢，在这个三主要道呢，在开始的时候呢，它就是简述整个这个道次第，已经把这个整个这个道次第到成佛的这个所有的这个要点那它都是浓缩在这个三主要道里面这样然后而且呢，宗喀巴大师跟文殊这个至尊文殊的这种师徒关系呢，是宗喀巴大师呢，他可以直接呢亲自见到真正的这个文殊至尊文殊呢，跟他说法这样子而且他就是两个师徒是这样面对面，那他可以直接见到真正的这个至尊文殊呢，来跟他说法这样，那跟他例如说讲述了这个中观然后还有其他的法，然后这个都是他们直接就是师徒这样子真正的面对面这样，所以宗喀巴大师跟至尊文殊的师徒关系是这样子的然后不像其他人，例如说他如果有得到文殊的什么教法，有的人是说是在梦中看到，或者是有什么看到什么清晰的这个像这样可是宗喀巴大师跟文殊的这种师徒关系呢，他们是直接真正的这样子的面对面，真正的这种师徒关系这样。那这个至尊文殊呢，是用这样子的方式呢，来教导宗喀巴大师，传给他各种的这个教法，尤其是有一个叫做善说精髓这个那更是文殊呢，就是直接这样子跟宗喀巴大师面对面这样子的传授所以呢，这个宗喀巴大师跟这个至尊文殊的这个师徒关系呢，是这种就是很特别的就是他可以直接亲自面见到这个真正的文殊，直接得到文殊的教法。
所以呢，the Nangyun the Jetson said the Inchikitola Venerable Sigiyore Venerable said the Fisher ma the Kushab Jessa then the Sigiyore in a Jetson said the Sik Tata Inchikitola Fisher do Yamare Nangyun Venerable then the Jetson Domalayan Dagaran Shuya long. Inchikitola Lavor oh yeah. That's
네, venerable travel for your assumption.
많지 어디서 얘네들 켜기 말해
저기요.
롱
이제 나중에 어려서 진짜네 시스템 같은데.
롱
다 나중 다시 그래. 나중에 그냥 지금 이게 산지 이게 수익 공부 이게 시동 신송的吧 수익 공부 이게 시동이 아니지 이게 영수적으로 아니 공기지 무슨 주제나 가지고 안에 공기지 무슨 주제 영수적으로 아니 다 주제 가지고나 아니 주제 나와서다 아니 지금 주제 개념 송스 봐 아니 그게 제가 좀 봐봐 주제 나와 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 아니 나와 시작 나왔어 아니 주제 되나 개념 송스 봐 주제 되면 아니 뭐가 되면 아니 어떻게 되면 아니 라고 주제 라고 주제 되는 순기 아니지 그게 되는 영수도 버티 아니지 그게 좋아지게 되는 게 아쉬운데 그 예배 아니 소화다 버는 신기 아니 그지를 되면 최대로 지스 아니 조지야 소화다 이거 봐 바람만 그래 제주를 인자지 세상 장미 남의 진진 총선기 양수 링수 대한 도주 수리 한 교수 남기게 양수 주시나 유지 아니 지금가 어디 보시다 그 양수의 고심다 지금 이게 미 로와다 참에 시부지기가 그 시라가 미 로다 참에 아니 계속 시부지기가 송매가 좀 도시가 됐어.
So the Buddha gave teachings, a complete body of teachings consisting of 84,000 discourses, 84,000 teachings. And the complete set of teachings was also contained in the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras in 100,000 verses, 20,000 verses, and 8,000 verses. Also looking at the way that the teachings that the Buddha gave, the 84,000 teachings, the way that they are classified into the three baskets, the three pitakas, the three collections of teachings, teaching the three higher trainings: training in ethics, training in concentration, and training in wisdom. So, as the teachings that the Buddha gave, teachings on the three pitakas, or the three baskets, are teaching the three high trainings, you have the basket of teachings of the Vinaya. They teach the training in ethics. And then the collection or the basket of sutras teaching the training in concentration. And then the one on Abhidharma, the one on knowledge, teaching wisdom, the training in wisdom. So then came along an Indian master called Joje, or Joje Atisha, the elder Atisha, who was supplicated by a king that resided in Tibet to teach to compose a text teaching the path of enlightenment. So the elder Atisha composed a text that is called "The Lamp on the Path to Enlightenment." Then came along later on Lama Tsongkhapa, who wrote a great exposition on the stairs of the path to enlightenment, what is called in Tibetan the Lamrim Chenmo. In fact, Lama Tsongkhapa composed different extents on presentations on the stairs of the path to enlightenment that were based on Atisha's lamp for the path to enlightenment. So Lama Tsongkhapa composed the great exposition, the middling exposition, and the small or the brief presentation on the stairs of the path to enlightenment. And those texts that teach the stages of the path to enlightenment teach it for beings of three scopes: small scope being or small scope practitioner, medium scope practitioner, and a great scope practitioner. What those texts are teaching is the stages of the practice for those three types of practitioners: the small scope practitioner, a medium scope practitioner, and a great scope practitioner. So those texts are teaching those stages of the stages of the path of the practice in a way that is suited to the mentality of those individual practitioners, and as such, it is hugely beneficial for those practitioners as it suits their particular mentality.
那在就是呢，佛陀所传的这个帮这个三藏12部的这个正法84000法门哈，例如说我们可以把它总结为一种说法是叫般若经，般若经可以分为10万颂、25000颂或者是8000颂这样哈，所以这个佛陀所传的84000法门哈，这个三藏呢12部正法，有人分为就是经律论三藏这样子哈，那这个律的话最主要是讲戒律，那经呢是讲定哈，那个论就是指的是阿毗昙呢是讲的这个般若智慧的哈，那以及也分为就是这个三增上学、戒定慧三学这样子哈。那在这个过去呢，这个阿底峡尊者呢，他受到这个西藏王的这个祈请哈，就迎请他入藏，然后呢就是将整个这个成佛的这个菩提道哈，然后阿底峡尊者呢就把它写成叫我们可以讲菩提道灯论，或有人讲菩提道具论啊。然后这个宗喀巴大师呢，再以这个阿底峡尊者的这个菩提道灯论呢为基础，然后呢而去做这个不同的释论，最广的我们就称为叫菩提道次第广论，然后中的叫做菩提道次第的中论，那最简略最短的就叫做略论哈，这3种论这样。那这个呢，这都是在讲述整个这个次第的这个成佛之道这样子哈，然后所以呢，在这个道次第里面呢，就是将这个成佛之道呢，对于呢下等根器的这个下士夫，还有中士夫，还有上根的这个上士夫呢，就分为下士道、中士道、上士道这样。那这个整个都是要从凡夫到成佛为止的整个这个修行的一步一步的这个次第这样子哈，然后就是呢去顺应呢就是各种不同根器的众生呢而做的。
아니 춘이 시셔로 통화 내내 비교 나눠줘야 아니 지금게 지금 거시고래 아니 춘이엔 상고야 아니 지금게 예년 지하고야 지금 누가 지금 그랬어 아니 지금 춘이엔 예년 아니 춘이 변수다 봐 아니 춘이 하다 춘이 누가 만지는 내년 지금 말이 말이 네, 다 좀 지금 와서 한다니 얘기는 이게 순간 아니 준비 주시 풀어서 왔대 아니 많다 있네 와 at least what yeah you have some yours
at least
용슈데 얘기는 이게 순간 자와세
라서
준비 주시 주 땡거지 at least
라서. So this text is teaching the three principal aspects of the path. Now, in teaching and listening to teachings on this text, we first of all need to have all the conducive conditions complete. Not only we need to have all the conducive conditions complete in order to teach this text, in order to listen to the teachings, we also need to do that in listening to instructions coming from a teacher. And as such, they need to be free from, it is called the three faults of the containers, right? So being free from three faults, which are called the three faults of a container, and also to adopt 6 mental attitudes. So at the very least, what we should have in listening to such instructions from a teacher is being free from the 3 faults of the container and adopting the 6 attitudes.
那在呢，我们现在呢要讲的这个经典呢，就是三主要道哈。然后呢，我们在听闻三主要道的这个教法的时候，我们也要顺缘具足哈。就是我们在听闻教法的时候呢，就是呢要从这个一个师长的这个座下呢来听闻这个教授。然后在听闻的时候呢，我们也要避免就是这个断气三过哈。然后你在听闻的时候呢，也要具足6种听闻的威仪。
아니, 네, 가지고는 생각하고 봐. 네, 시험도 봐. 네, 정말 재. 네, 변송 시험을 거야. 나 지금 마음도 이렇게 주니 시험을 거, 예매 거 나왔어 봐. 주니 예매 거야. 이게 아니 지금 이게 시험도 왔다고 총이 있나니? 아니 지금 이게 쭉 가제 얘도 쭉이야. 봐. 가지고 이거 봐. 아니 네. 방금 들어봐. 네, 시작도 들어봐. 또 가보 말해. 시작도 말해.
말이지 가보봐.
가보. 가보가 또 재미있다. 쭉 가제 그게 예 고급 총알이네. 아니 최근 양심에 고급 총알이네 최근 그게 영화가. 봐. 쭉 얘는 줄로디 가지고 이거 인생으로 봐. 내가 잡아. 이거 시작도 간다면 이게 아주 역할 보고 간다면 아니지 이게 뭐다 총알이나 이게 중요해 중요해 그거 그냥 정말 됐어 나는 신경이 이게 지금 네 시작도 봐 지금 최근 2년 맞지年내 트렌드야 아니지 이게 그 제마도나 네 시작도 되는 거当时我们说，이게 로비네 양, 누구들에 저것에 어떻게 소통하러 와. 근데 소나들에 시작되어 있는 거야. 근데 이제는 안 이게 쭉 아니 이게 예시 처박이 오늘 만진 거 당시에나 아니 양주인 보는 좋은 거 말했어. 아니야, 이제 나머지 아니지 그게 인류인이 아니지 그거지 얘네야 아니 그게 지금 지만치는 나와 그게 가지고 그래 아주 유리 상고지 좀 있나 아니지 저 강한 체장 이 라멘 팀을 스타트 말했어 제가 이 승규 아니 그게 지시도와 승규 참고 직접 말 시간 계신 시험이었어 지금 아니 그 주말에 나는 그래서 엄마도 술세 아니지 가래 이게 로비 이제 컨텐츠로 컨텐츠로 됐다네 그래서 영화로 너 가보고 그다음에 아니 마음도 너 지금 괜찮은데 너 시작 되었다고 안 이제 뭐 간지를 당겨요 말이지 아니 걔들 아니 가보고 이제 너 가보고 네 셔프가 이렇게 전에요. 네, 지만지는 데에 아니 안 비싼 곳이만 좀 있나? 아니, chuy년 뭐지? 더 맞아요. 근데 이제 이게 제가 진짜 모르겠어.
So first of all, we spoke about the 3-fold stuff we ought to be free from when we listen to teachings, and the 3 faults were said to be the 3 faults that we need to be free from are the 3 faults of the container. So a container, a certain receptacle, can be placed upside down. That's one fault, right, of being placed upside down. The second one is that it has a hole at the bottom and it's leaking. That's the second fault. And the third fault is that it is stained. It is stained by certain pollutants. So using those analogies, let's get to the meaning of them. First of all, if you listen like a vessel that is placed upside down, it means that it doesn't matter how much you listen to the teachings, you will not be able to put it into practice because you'll not be able to retain whatever was spoken, because it's like it's like a vessel that is placed upside down in that nothing can go into it. So that's one fault. The second fault is that you might listen to the teachings, but you will not retain them. You will not remember them. It's like having a vessel or a certain container that has a hole in it. It is pierced. So it doesn't matter how much milk or honey you pour into it. They do not collect. Right? It's all leaking out. That's the second fault. Right? So if you do not retain the teachings that you thus listen to, it's like a vessel or a container that is leaking. Now the third fault is a container that is stained. The meaning of that is that if you listen to the teachings, even if you listen to the teachings, even if you retain what was said, if your attitude was a bad attitude, not a good attitude, your mind stream is not a good mind stream, whatever you have listened to, whatever you remember, would be polluted by your attitude. So therefore, in looking at how we render ourselves free from these three faults, we need to listen to the teachings attentively. We need to retain what is stated, and we also need to have that good state of mind, a good mind stream in doing that. Not to have that fault of a vessel that is placed upside down, in that nothing can go into it. Not the fault of a vessel or a container that is leaking, in that if you pour honey or milk into it, they will not collect, they will not remain inside, they will leak out. You need to retain what you listen to. And you also need to make sure that your mind stream is free from stains, is free from bad attitudes.
讲到就是我们在听闻的佛法的时候，我们要避免这个断气三过哈。那所谓的断气三过这个比喻是一种类比法，就是讲说，例如呢，我要装东西的一个这个容器哈，你要避免它的三种过失。例如第一种过失就是说，如果你想要装东西，可是你将你这个容器呢，你就是上下这样倒过来放，那这样的话，你要倒什么东西根本就倒不进去啊。那第二种这个过失呢，就是说你这个容器里面是有漏洞，是破裂的啊，然后不管你倒什么进去，它都会漏出来，根本就没有办法装东西。那第三种过失就是说，你这个容器呢是受到这个污染的这样子哈，然后这是一种这个类比法这样子哈，所以呢就是说，当我们听闻佛法的时候呢，我们都必须呢要避免这个断气三过这样子哈，那要不然的话，如果说像呢这个第一种呢，你把这个容器呢就是上下这样倒过来放的话呢，那你无论呢就是怎样子去听闻，这听闻的这个法呢都不会停留到你的心中哈。然后这个断气三过的第二种过失哈，就是说因为这个容器它是有漏洞的嘛，然后不论呢就是你试着想要倒多少的牛奶或者是蜂蜜进去，再怎么倒呢它都会漏掉。也就比喻像我们不管怎么听闻佛法，那个佛法都没有办法停留在你的心中，这样这是第二种过失。第三种过失呢，就是你这个容器呢受到了污染啊，那所以呢就是如果你的这个心相续，你的心态呢是负面的，是受到这个烦恼的这个污染的话，那么你不管怎么这个听闻呢，这个正法也没有办法入你的心哦。所以呢，就是呢，我们要让我们的心呢，就是免于呢这三种过失这样子哈。然后，所以在我们听闻佛法的时候，就是必须呢是很专注的 而且你要用这种善的这个心态，那好的这种心相续呢来听闻，而不是呢用这种有这个断气三过。第一个呢就是上下颠倒的，不管你怎么要倒这个牛奶或蜂蜜呢也倒不进去啊。那第二种呢就是说这个气呢是有破洞，是有会漏掉的哈，不管你倒多少的牛奶或蜂蜜呢也都会漏出来这样子哈。没有这个听闻的法没有办法停留在你的心中。那第三种呢就是受到这个污染的这个容器哈，不管你听什么法，你的心都是受到这个烦恼的染着。所以呢我们来听闻佛法的时候一定要避免这个断气三过。
Not only we need to make sure that we are free from the three faults of the vessel, the container, we also need to adopt the 6 attitudes, which are conditions that are conducive for the process. So the type of attitudes that we should develop is, first of all, seeing ourselves as a disciple as being like a sick person, right? We are, as the students, the disciples, we see ourselves as a person that is sick. The doctor that we rely upon is the Lama. The medicine that the doctor prescribes us is the Dharma. So far we have 3 attitudes. Ourself as a sick person, the Lama is like a doctor, and the medicine is the Dharma. Now, the following 3 attitudes is needing to adopt the attitude of properly putting the Dharma into practice. That's the 4th one. The 5th one is seeing the Buddha, the Tathagata, as a holy being. And the last one is a way of practicing the Dharma should be as such that the Dharma will remain for a long time.
不止呢，我们在听闻佛法的时候要避免这个断气三过哈，还有我们在听闻佛法的时候呢，也要有就是6种威仪呢，以便让我们在听闻的时候呢，能够就是更有顺缘具足，更有效这样子哈，更相应这样。然后所以呢，第一个呢就是弟子呢要做病人想啊，然后第二个呢就是。既然是病人呢，你所医治的这个医师呢，就是上师，所以要将上师呢做医师想这样子啊，然后再来呢，这个医师所开的这个处方这个药呢，那就是佛法哈，然后所以呢，我们要将这个上师呢视为医师，然后他所讲的法呢视为这个药这样子啊，然后再来第4点就是要将上师所说的法呢，要去这个实修哈，然后呢。再来就是呢，将这个师长呢视为就是像这个如来这样子的这个圣者哈，然后第6个呢就是要将这样子所听闻的这个法哈，然后这个教法呢要能够就长久注视，让它停留很久这样。
Or in short, the type of attitude that we should have is the one that does not fall prey to the 8 worldly concerns. Not being under the influence of the 8 worldly concerns. Not seeking fame, reputation, and so forth.
那我们在听闻佛法的时候，这个心态上 很重要，就是不要受这个世间八风的这个垢染，也就是说不要受到像这种名利世间八风的这种垢染。
反正大家理解。가장 내가 뭐 그만 수송을 했어. 아니, 샌들리시는 처음에, 보아르시는 인중했어. 어떻게 수송하는 신기. 아니, 지금 이게, 우리나라 취직이 된 상황도 방송 마치면 되는 것 같아요. 다시 한번 했어. NCT 중앙이나? 아니, 지금 취직이 너무 수송하니까, 최남다 최근 말했어.
Like it was stated by an earlier Kadampa master, if you cling to this life, you're not a Dharma practitioner. If you cling to samsara, you have no renunciation. So fearing that we might misunderstood the idea of if you cling to this life, you're not a Dharma practitioner, we still need to take care of ourselves. We still need to make sure that the food that we eat is a healthy food, that it sustains us, that we have a healthy lifestyle, that we keep our body in a good state, that we exercise. We still need to do that. But if we do that with a sense of clinging, with a sense of attachment, right? So if we have a sense of clinging, sense of attachment to such things, it means that we are not Dharma practitioners. So that goes in line with making sure that we do not fall under the sway of the 8 worldly concerns. We are not under the control of the 8 worldly concerns, right? So make sure that you do not misunderstand the idea of if you cling to this life, you're not a Dharma practitioner. We still need to make sure that the food that we eat is nourishing us, that we take care of our body, that we remain healthy. And yet, if you cling, if you become attached to this life, it means that you're not a Dharma practitioner.
还有就是早期的这个格当派的这个大师们呢，祖师们有讲过就是说，如果呢你贪着于这一世这个现世的话，那么你就不是修行人。那如果你会贪着这个轮回的享乐的话，那么你就没有出离心，你会贪着轮回就没有出离心，这样那这样我们可能会产生一种误解就是说贪着了这一世的话，那我就不是修行人那这到底是什么意思事实上就是说，我们要修行的话，一样你需要呢要有去吃这个食物，以便呢能够滋养你的色身，然后让你有健康的身体，你也需要去运动等等，你要去照顾你这个身体，还是需要做的。所谓呢贪着现世，最主要是指的说那种贪着这种世间的这个八风你受到这个世间八风的这个垢染的时候呢，那你就不是修行人。这个所谓的贪着现世就不是修行人，最主要是要我们不要落入这个世间的八风的这种考虑里面这样子然后就是说，如果呢我们为了要有这个色身来修行，我们还是需要吃食物然后滋养这个色身然后有这个健康的身体这样子所以呢我们不要误解，就是说如果贪着这个现世的话，就不是修行人的那种意义。
大方在讲，我在这里，如果按照这个去年吧，现在这个规矩是吧？是吧？那你这个有点那么谈的，大方在明暗的情况下，那你在我晒的什么休息？
In short, this is the type of motivation that we should sustain in practicing the Dhamma, in seeking instructions from a teacher, in listening well to those instructions, and making our mind being receptive to them.
所以呢，简单来说呢，就是我们前面所讲的这样子的这个来听闻佛法的这个动机哈，就是说在我们呢要来开始听闻之前，我们要先这样子的匡正意乐哈，然后要有这个正确的动机来听闻，正确的心态来听闻。
아니, 강세자 단지 최대는 아니 내용을 근데 있는 거야. 지금 좀 불러서 선생님이 실수. 안 나봤지. 이 사람 유주 주로. 봐. 안다지. 안다지 않는 유지. 요소는 남기는데 네. 차상 상대이 아주 남기는데 시지 유시. 안다지.
So then if you turn your attention to the three principal aspects of the path, as it says in the first section, that we are going to get an explanation on the essence of all the teachings of the conqueror, the path praised by the conquerors and their spiritual children, the essence for the fortunate ones who desire liberation. So particularly the type of teachings that we are going to study here are the teachings of the conqueror, are presented according to the states of the path of beings from the three scopes. So all the key points from the teachings that the Buddha gave, all of them are contained within the instructions of the states of the path of those of the three scopes.
那就是呢，我们呢接下来呢要讲这个三主要道这就是先讲这个第一个偈颂，就是一切佛陀一切智言心要义是诸贤善佛子所赞道，希求解脱行者之经道，我今应随己力而宣说哈。那在这边呢，就是这个第一颂呢，就是讲到就是说讲到这个一切佛陀的这个教法哈，在这边呢最主要我们要讲的就是三主要道，而且三主要道呢，就是已经把佛陀的所有的教法的这个精华呢，都涵盖在这个三主要道里面了。
So in looking at the three principal aspects of the path, it starts with the line of paying homage. It says, I bow down to the venerable spiritual masters. When it says, I bow down to the venerable spiritual masters, we first of all identify the object that we pay homage to. For there could be different objects, many objects that are paid homage to. Amongst them, here in this text, the object that we pay homage to are the venerable spiritual masters. So the Lama, or the Lamas, are those on the basis of which all the excellent things in this life and future lives, all of those excellent things will come and depends upon the Lama. All the excellent things in this life, in the intermediate state, in future life, all of them, all those excellent things will arise in depends upon the Lama.
那在这个要开始讲这个三主要道哈，它的这个行文的第一行就是指这个顶礼至尊上师们这样子哈，然后这边呢就讲到这个在不同的这个教法的开始哈，就是有时候会有一些礼敬呢不同的这个对境。 在三主要道里面呢，他礼敬的呢就是至尊上师们哈，因为上师呢事实上是我们的一切这个善好安乐的这个来源哈，就是你不只是这一世或未来世，还有终一生哈你所有的一切这个善好安乐的来源呢，是完全要依赖上师的。
他지주세 제일 남았어요. 근데 자나한테야 이게 동조로 재미나 아니 지금 인주셔서 내가 좀 잘. 그봐? 야 이게 지금 남아난 차도 지잖아요. 이게 뭐야? 인주셔서 내가 야 저기 있잖아요. 이제 이것도 뭐다 그랬어.
So notice that the line says, I bow down to the venerable spiritual masters. So here in this translation we use the word venerable. The word in Tibetan is jetsun. Now jetsun has a variety of ways that you can apply an understanding to. One of them is to understand the word jetsun as one that has seized the three principal aspects of the path, which means that they hold the determination to emerge from samsara, what is called renunciation, also bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, and the correct view. Right? The one who holds those three principal aspects is called in Tibetan, can be called in Tibetan jetsun, or here was translated into English as the venerable.
在这个第一句就是这个顶礼至尊上师们，这个至尊这个字在藏文呢就是讲至尊然后它这个至尊有不同的这个意义，其中的意义呢，也就是说这个师长呢，他是持有这个出离心、菩提心跟空正见的他是持有这样子的三主要道的见解者的。
라마 들래. 봐. 근데 라마 들래. 진이 상을 보여 시작했지. 봐. 같은 이게 지금 라마 아니지 이게 그렇죠. 가만히 만다야. 아니지 이게 같이 나온다면 했습니다. 아니지 이게 도와주시려면 했습니다. 아니 가시고 상한이 시를 하면 했습니다. 하면 했으니 좀 무시무시. 와. 아마도 이제 제가 요 때에 만다인 때문에 가시고 신이 교원처럼 이시고 유대하고 준지 도비죠. 이니 나도 또 마켓에 대회더니 교화방은 NC 지금 송하는 신기 이게 다음에 신이야 주주 송하고 와. 어떤 이제 남자인데 this comes
When we bow down to the venerable lamas, here our translation, the English translation at least, says spiritual masters. The word that is used in Tibetan is lama. And our lamas, our gurus, need to have certain characteristics that make them fully qualified spiritual masters, fully qualified lamas. So then the set of defining characteristics that they should have is explained differently according to certain contexts. Like, for example, a teacher from the Vinaya perspective, from the perspective of disciplining, should have a certain set of defining characteristics. A teacher that teaches you the secret mantra, which means Tantra, should then have another set of defining characteristics. So there are different sets of defining characteristics that you should check that the Lama possesses. This is really important to have a fully qualified spiritual teacher or master. Or you can say that at the very least, the Lama should have the qualities of being serene, of being pacified, being thoroughly pacified, or you can say being disciplined, serene, pacified, which are qualities that are derived from the practice of the three higher trainings. They should also have a wealth of scriptures. They should also have an understanding of reality, a realization of reality. They should also be skilled in explaining that. They should have that loving concern to the disciple, and they should also have abandoned dispiritedness. They should also be energetic in their attitude.
再来呢，就是第一句呢，讲到这个顶礼哈，然后这个礼敬这个上师哈，这个上师呢在藏文叫做拉玛哈，然后拉玛呢指的就是这个上师，所以被称为上师呢，在就是不同的这个法哈，不同就是需要具备不同的条件，然后才能够成为具格的这个上师这样子啊。例如说以戒律来讲，那你找的这个戒律的这个师呢，他就必须呢具足特定的功德条件，他才能够成为一位具格可以传这个戒律的上师啊。那如果说你要学的是这个秘密真言圣的话，那这个要当这个秘密真言圣的上师的话呢，他也必须具备呢不同的这个功德跟条件，他才能够成为可以传这个秘密真言圣的这种具格的这个上师这样。那要称为这个上师的人呢，他至少呢就是需要呢，他是一个非常他的心性呢行为呢跟身跟心都是很调伏、很平静的那种啊，而且呢是有这个修这个三增上学的这样子啊，然后呢对于这个经教呢也是有很了解的这个啊，然后以及呢对于这个实相呢他是有证悟的，而且呢他在这个教导还有说法呢教弟子方面他也要很善巧，那以及呢对弟子呢需要具足这个慈悲心的，而且呢他的心态呢也必须呢是很清净的。
啊，老妈经常我早上在老妈也经常去，说呢，我在平面里你不得去瞧些事，对吧？我在平面里这个，说呢嘛，对吧？俺的这个我处理了嘛，对吧？我处理因为呢，这个我超速公司这个两边这个在这种情况了吧？我说呢嘛，俺的平面的对吧？最近边呢，俺南阳什么那个电话哇，南阳什么那边今年我说嘛呢，俺那个这个，说我处理什么呢？俺那这个电话哇，这些，俺那多少钱吧？那现在一个月，我们也经常，是吧？那现在情况呢，全部是我要的事。
Not only a teacher needs to be a qualified teacher in that they should possess the set of defining characteristics that renders them to be a fully qualified spiritual teacher. Also, ourselves as the disciples, also we should have the three qualities that make us be fully qualified students that relies upon a teacher. So first of all, amongst those three qualities, the first one is making sure that we are not being partial, that we are non-partisan. In a sense that if our attitude is biased, if our attitude is partial, it means that whatever might be the practice that we're going to undertake, we're not going to be able to implement it in a proper way. So that's the first thing, that we should be non-partial. The second one is that we should strive at the Dharma. Otherwise, if we don't have that sense of seeking the Dharma, striving for the Dharma, we will not make effort in our practice. So that's the second quality, striving for the Dharma. The third one is that we should be intelligent. So those are the three qualities of a student, right? Being non-partisan or non-partial, that's the first one. Striving for the Dharma, that's the second one. And being intelligent, that's the third one.
然后不止呢，就是上师呢必须具备这个特定的条件哈，然后成为具格的这个上师。 那弟子这方面呢，也需要具足3种条件呢，才能够成为这个完全具格具气的这个弟子啊。那第一点呢，弟子的条件就是说，你要很确定呢，没有分别心哈。因为如果说你的心态呢是属于很有分别心很重的那种哈，那你不管修什么法，修多少法都没有办法真正如法的哈。然后再来第2个呢，就是你要很精勤的去修学佛法这样子哈。然后再来第3个呢，就是你必须是很聪慧、很立根的。
按人家说的这个，有那边经济发展，那边经济成绩好嘛？那第一个呢，他今年他这个发出来的，那么旁边，对吧？那你今年啊，对吧？那你这个有的话，那你这那你说的，按照我做的3年呢，那你在那边看到他们这个月发现，那你有的是，你有的的，你就在那这个就是说，你把这个这个落下来呢，这样子这个路嘞，我以前呢，从云南这个在不是在那，安静，天天看到，有这个事，有上多事，后来呢这个，前边在别个要嘛的这个因为好像都不用修这个事，好像的，学起来不是因为这样的，所以说呢呀，他的研发进步呢，然后这个最先的这个。你的判断是我上的，不能的看图都没，不能决定是那个意思。那电影就在那，说的，按照我做的3年都那么快，然后他们是有个因为在那，按你不介意，请了5个请了对不对？这样子的呀，这个，形容是那个的，就起，或者就在那，什么都是，那差不多，重要那就是。
So those are the sets of defining characteristics that the Lama should possess. Likewise, the disciples should possess. So we touched upon both of those sides. Now, His Eminence says that it might not be present in our situation here, in that it might be that one of those, one of the parties in this equation, master or disciple, might be missing some of the defining characteristics, so therefore might not have all of them. But then still, His Eminence says that coming here to Singapore from India, he thought that at least in terms of correcting his motivation is right. In wishing those teachings should be to be of benefit to others. For based upon such teachings that also explain how one should rely upon a Lama, one attains the state of a Buddha. So attaining the state of a Buddha, being able to attain the state of a Buddha, depends upon relying upon a Lama. So even though you might say that even though some of the defining characteristics might be missing, at least the Master says, or His Eminence says, that coming here, at least he had that motivation, may that be of benefit to others. May these teachings be of benefit to others. So we're going to look at an abridged or a brief presentation of this text, and His Eminence is going to do as much as he can in order to put across this text and to explain it as much as he can. The motivation is may that be of benefit to others.
那我们前面呢所讲的就是上师必须具备的条件，以及弟子必须必备的条件。如果说拿到就是我们目前的这个状态来讲的话，或许呢某些条件是不具足的哈。那但是呢鲁伯先生讲说他自己呢他来到从印度来到这个新加坡，那至少呢他的这个发心动机是为了要利他利益众生而来的这样子哈。那以及我们讲到就是说我们在依止上师的时候呢，就是要视上师为佛，所以上师要具足像佛这样子的这个条件哈。那至少呢，就是仁波切来此，他呢就是有这种利他的心哈。然后接下来就是要来就是简单的呢来讲解哈，然后而且来就是陈述这个三主要道的这个内容，而且仁波切是尽力的，尽他最大的努力呢，来讲解这个三主要道的内容。所以呢，他来到这边呢，说法他至少呢，他的这个发心动机呢，是为了要利他的。
아, 내가 이게 라마 아니 지금 이게 이시에서 의미 중에서 아니 라마 전에야 아니 지금 이게 거진 다음에 거진 정도 관계 아니 지금 이게 라마니 좀 그게 뭐네 아니 그저 센스 what is wrong with this
So when it says, I bow down to the venerable spiritual masters, we think of the Lama as being the one who depends upon which we attain all the excellent things in this and future lifetimes. And in thinking of it, we become mindful of the kindness of the teacher. We remember the kindness, and through that we bow down to them.
那所以呢，这个第一句就是讲这个顶礼至尊上师们哈，就是说当我在就是顶礼礼敬上师的时候呢，就是呢将上师视为已经证悟就是成佛功德的上师，然后就是去意念这个上师的恩惠。
你这是在做清净，连接的完全的到完的，然后是啊，那点我想说，我以前到唐代讲的，妈妈的这个嘛，已经一笔不笔的，是吧？安尼是会跟你有关系，安尼是会三十年关系，是吧？300天就是9月天就是跟你过了吧？这当地妈妈的这个嘛，30年关系，数十年前是吧？安尼是会讲话，但是啦，就是不是，但你那没就没那，就是看一点比较强嘛是啊。
그래도 인적에 또가 책디 최선디 눈 났어. Lama Tsongkhapa says in his Songs of Experience, when he touches upon the importance of relying upon a teacher, he says, the root of dependent-related origination, issuing forth as many good things as there are, here and hereafter, referring to this and future lives, is the effort of correctly relying in thought and in deed upon a true spiritual friend who reveals the path. Seeing this even at the cost of your life, please him with offering practice that follows the teachings. Which means that in looking at a source of refuge in this and future lives, here and hereafter, the Lama is our source of refuge. And therefore, we should properly rely upon a spiritual teacher in our thoughts and in our deeds, which means in our thoughts and practice.
就是如同这个宗喀巴大师呢，就是在这个菩提道这个摄颂里面呢所讲的这个依止上师里面哈，那他的意思呢就是讲说，我们呢在依止上师的时候呢，你就是要用正确的就是你的身还有你的心呢去依止上师，例如说呢也有要就是供养服侍上师，从这个遵照上师的教戒这样哈，然后还有呢就是皈依上师的话呢，就是对于现在以及未来的这种皈依还有依止哈，所以我们在依止上师的时候，就是要用身跟心呢去如理的依止。
Okay. So it seems that our time is coming to a close today. So shall we? So do we have some Q&A? What are we going to do now? First of all, some recitation, dedications. Rinpoche kare Tandashana. Lasso. 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 So, so should we do some tanda di chiwa? They're deciding if to do. They were thinking if first of all to do the prayers and then questions answered. So now we're going to do some questions and answers. So have you got any questions? If you have any question, please put your hand up. Please be calm, be gentle with your questions. Don't ask too many complicated questions. So have you got any questions? Please put your hand up. Don't be shy. All right, we have the first one to go. You can just, yeah. Yeah, it's right.
Thank you, Rinpoche, for the precious teachings. Just wondering about the qualities of the students. The first one, you mentioned that we should be non-partial, which is, in other words, not to be biased. I'm just wondering whether does this refer to being non-sectarian? Could you kindly elaborate on this aspect? Because non-partial, not biased, can refer to lots of things. Not biased against what, you know. So my question is really, what is this quality that we need to cultivate in ourselves to be a model student? Thank you.
Yes, non-bias is it's a very wide thing, you know. So I think like it can be, one can take it as non-sectarian, not only within the Buddhist traditions, cultural Buddhist traditions, but even with non-religion and religion. Just, you know, some people say just because it's a religion, they say, you know, I don't believe. And some people, you know, they say, I only believe religion because I follow that. You know, that's the only reason we give. So, you know, that way. And also, you know, within the different religions, not only Buddhism, Christianity, Islam and Hinduism, whatever the teachings that are relevant and whatever the teachings that suits our daily life and whichever makes sense, that we should take. And just because it is said in this text, we do not have to accept it. Right? Just because it is in other traditions texts, we don't accept, not like that. Then within our tradition also, just because it is taught, just put it like that. No, not like that. No? Or just because it is said in the guild sect, just because it's said there, because there are some things that which are outdated and that which does not make sense. So, like that,
So we need to take it in a with a mind that is vast and extensive. No. All right, some more questions? Please don't.
Be translated in Chinese or no?
刚那个要翻译吗？很简单来说，刚这个问题问的就是仁波切讲，就是说这个弟子要具足的3种条件，第一个就是没有分别心嘛。那他问的问题就是说，这个所谓的没有分别是在哪方面？是指的说对教派的那个没有分别吗？那荣杰讲就是说，其实基础上就是说你的心必须是广的啊，就是说不要因为就是说它可以指的就是说宗教非宗教，或者是你自己的教派内还有教派外都可以哈，就是说不要因为是你教派内所讲的，你就说我全部都信。那只要是外道，例如说基督教或者是印度教、回教讲的，我就通通都不信，不是这样，就是说你要去看哈，就是说如果这个讲的呢是真的是有意义、有道理的，那你就去运用，不要排斥它，这样子好，基本上是讲不要有分别心，是指这样子的意思，就是说你的心量、心态上是必须是很广的这样。
I would like to ask questions related to the you mentioned about the 3 vessels of the thoughts during the teachings. The first 2, especially the upturned vessels as well as the leaky vessels. As the students, what are the practical advice that you can share with us? I think for myself, I think the first 2 are always very apparent to me. So, what can you advise, especially on the leaky vessels? How do you retain the teachings after the sessions?
他的견 송나 내가 뉘디 가 견디 메바스야라 칸데치 체나야스레 라브다치 gamna bena Quran ta amcho yabonia temba di kanshaba di temba simba di pekala ka ochagresa khadune dila kyun shogres dila ditola labja nantu bainas
일단 전대 진품 뉴스 좋아?
Quran kan de sunju kansheba de yago shida chengimindus ian chemindo pesha chembatan sheshin den de yago kyuntigi mare nando den dawo chichigido
지난 이 되는 양념 상당으로
no
대보 노치 안줄 제로 나와 그냥 주다 이네 지 좋아 노치 제니 양념 되는 상당 이제 제가 이네 이마지 마침 잘 좋아했어 내가 하나 좀 영화 초대해 봐 이제 빌딩 유진아 공지 때문에 남산 쪽 제가 믿을 수 있는 대유샤나 그 남의 여행이 너무 많이 있어 공지 때문에 그랬어 인상 가만히 있는데 영원 인상 있을 때 요즘 유조요 그때 때대로 아니 인터넷 따요 유튜브 요 됐다 때로
So first of all, you're not alone in that. His Eminence says that all of us are in the same boat in that sense. So the way to do it is to develop habits that are developed through repetition, to do it again and again, right? So you read books, you listen to teachings, you watch DVDs. Nowadays there are also teachings available on YouTube. And what we need to do is to develop habits and to improve them. So of course, we don't have it straight off, right? From the very get-go, it's not going to be a well-developed habit. But a well-developed habit comes about through familiarity. So we want to make sure that we use the books that we have at hand, which are now more available than before, right? So read books and do it again and again, and listen to teachings, watch DVDs, look at the internet, YouTube and so forth. Through that, you'll develop the habits that will then promote a better ability to retain the teachings that we get. Yes.
好，那就是刚那个问题呢，就主要是问说，刚刚讲到那个断气三过里面，尤其是第二个过就是有漏洞啊，听闻的这个法位漏掉这样啊。那人家的答复就是说，其实呢，他不是唯一有这种现象的人，大家都在同一条船上哈。那要避免这个第二种过失的其中一个方法就是呢，要就是的方法就是要去反复不断的练习串习，这样哈，可以透过就是阅读。或者是听闻教法，像现在的教法很多，你在网络上都可以透过这个 YouTube 去看，就是去听闻佛法这样子哈。那这种好的习气，我们没有办法，就是说在一开始就好像本来就有这样，要透过去练习，让你的心越来越熟悉，你就有办法做到哈。可以透过就是反复不断的去读这个佛书，然后呢听闻佛法，然后透过像到这个网站上面去哈，去看像 YouTube 这上面的这个说法哈，然后你就渐渐的呢练习呢，你就可以把你所听闻的这个佛法呢，可以停留在你的心中。
That's all.
Any more questions? One last? Or no more? Then we will meet again tomorrow.
Okay, then
we'll do dedication prayers.
Yes, no.
So in our books, in page number 5, it says, "May all sentient beings perfect the accumulation of wisdom and merit through the blessing of this practice, and may they find the two pure bodies which are the fruit of merit and wisdom. May the excellent precious bodhicitta be developed by those who have not yet attained it, and may it not diminish in those who have developed it, but rather be strengthened unceasingly."
回向，愿诸众行善，不会习缘善，得福智长流，行诸法速悟，菩提心妙宝，归生者愿生，以生勿退减，展展必增盛。
So His Eminence wanted also to recite some prayers in Tibetan. It's not going to take a long time. It's going to be a brief one. Oh yeah, that's the dedication prayer from of the Lam Rin. Tatayanta Kanshin Sapade Lomi Mari Gedon Jowana Namje Yawe Wango Tantiuchi Dema Sumbe Zerab Kundu Jampe Yangi Sewe Jesune Tempe Rimpa Kutsan Langicha Chupe Gyanan Yenje Rangi Jishin Tope Amgin Shuta Tsewe Chawe Tapke Jowe Yiki Menda Sejen
Yahweh Tenpa Yurin Zing Yuchi Yampa Rinchen Chogi Makya Kyang Nyampa Yuwe Chodi Ninje Chenbo Yera Yobai Bende Tete Sawa Chebach Seche Gawe Majun Chin Le Jo Chancho Lang Ye Rembe Ta de Nam Kie Yila Batet Yahweh Tenpa Rindu Kyong Yuch Nam San Ju Be Tun Kyan Ju Je Kan Kyan Se Je Mi Ta Mi Mi Sera Kuntu Yahweh Ngapa Nam Da La Ta Trewa Ma Yu Kan Te Te Pa Cho La Cho Chu Tu Jin Ju La Chun Da De Yis Tu De Nam Gi Tu Tu Jo Je Cha Shi Gya Tsu Cho Kun Kya Gyu